Hey, HR leader, diversity leader, have you been charged with setting up a resource group? I want to talk to you and give you a few tips that you can use. And if you want more information, go ahead and check out our podcast exactly on this subject. So if you've been charged with setting up, and I'm talking about the charter, not necessarily an individual group, I want to give you some guidelines that you can use. Now, for those who are wondering, what are resource groups? I know before we used to call them affinity groups. And these are groups that basically people get together on a homogeneous idea, or they build community, and there's something that's all the same or similar about it. For instance, it could be something like the African American group, the Latinx group. It could be a women's group. It can be the veterans group or an environmental group. Whatever it is, they come together within your organization. So the first thing I want to say, because they're in your organization, you want to make sure that they have some structure where they're tied to the strategic plan of your organization. So this way, this group actually has a viable meaning to the organization. So everyone knows why they're existing. It's great that they have goals and things that they care about, like the environment. It's great that the moms are getting together to discuss how they can strengthen one another. But how does that impact the organization? How does that impact the organizational goals? That's something that you want to consider. The second thing you want to think about is, who are the key stakeholders, and getting them involved early. And so that could be HR, communications, your technical department. It also definitely is going to be legal, because one of the things you want them to do is let you, as these groups are building, you want to have communication and conversations with them to make sure that you're staying within the parameters of what they also have planned in their strategic plan. You also want to talk to legal and make sure the different groups that are setting up, they're inclusive, and they also are not discriminating against anyone when they're setting up their guidelines. So you want to put those guidelines in your charter. Also, you definitely want to outline to them that while this group is coming up with amazing ideas and supporting the company in reaching their goals, those ideas belong to the company. Sorry, IP belongs to the company. And the last one I want to talk to you about is, give them structure on how to choose their leaders, because each group is going to need a leader. But how do they choose their leaders? It's not going to be great if each group is choosing their leadership and building leadership teams that are not cohesive across the organization. So it'll be really great that you give them the guidelines that they would need. So those are my tips, just a few to get you started on your charter for employee or business resource groups. What are your tips? What do you think you can do, or what have you done to start your employee resource group? Have an amazing day, and I'd love to see your comment.